say it, but I'm running out of winter to get all my jobs done. What's hard? I don't even know what I'm on about here. I hate dog rows. Hey Woodlanders, come on in. Welcome to another woodlog in Woodland paradise. I'm feeling particularly under the weather today. I don't know what it is with me. I don't know whether I'm exhausted. I don't know what it is. I don't have any motivation at all. I even had a little nana nap in the van earlier. A lady just contacted us and she wanted some pea sticks. So I've been cutting some pea sticks out of this lot. This is going to be maiden cut hazel coppice, and this has all got to be cut yet, which won't be happening today, but I just thought if I can get the pea sticks out some of the tops, then at least I can get that order done and finished. So we've got our 20 pea sticks just here. I'm just going to dress them a little bit better than they are. I'm trying to decide what to do with myself for the rest of the day. I've got some ash to cut down and I've got some thinning to do in here as well. This is that little bit of ash I've got to clear fell, so there's might be about 25 trees, something like that. I've got to get some more poles out for somebody who wants a wedding arch. The tops are basically dead. I'll show you that in a minute. That's the ash dieback. They start from the top down, just keeps dying and dying and sends out these new shoots, and then it dies back again. We'll replant this with hazel. I've got to check to see if the robinias, which are the ones in the brown shelters you might just see the tops of, quite a lot of those died because of the drought last year. First tankful down, I show you what diseased ash looks like. Here's classic ash dieback, where the top has just completely gone. This is the crown, and that's just dead and rotting now, that is. And that's what happens with the big trees. So on the small trees it's not so bad because it's only little twigs that come off, and in a woodland setting perhaps not that dangerous unless you stood underneath it in a gale force wind. But in a parkland setting, roadside, amenity areas, this ash dieback causes real problems, real safety issues. But this was an interesting one. I didn't catch this on film. But this is what they call a barber chair. So as you're felling, as the tree starts to come over, what it does, it hits the V part there. The two meet up like that. And there's still enough force holding it on this hinge part here, which means that it just splits up the length like that. And that's why you stand clear when you're felling any tree. You've always got to make sure you have your exits clear at the back, so that when it starts going over, you get out of the way. Ash is a typical tree for doing that. Other timbers that tend to cleave really easily also do it. I call it a barber chair because what it does, in essence, it leaves you with a flat bit there and then this piece of timber coming up here, and then like a snapped off bit sometimes at the top there, so it looks like a chair. You just call it a barber chair. I don't know whether all barbers' chairs look like that, but that's what they call it. That's all the ash trees done. We've just had a big pine down just there. That one there's got a double stem and then triple stem and then a quadruple stem. That one's got come out. And then mist tree, that one there. That's a double leader as well, which is sort of a 50% thin on those edge pines. And if I just swing you around a bit, some pines here. And the same will happen with those. You see that one with a curly stem just here somewhere. Those will get thinned out 50% as well. Just that row, I think, what I'll do this time. It'd be nice to take the whole row out, but I just haven't got the time. I never thought I'd say it, but I'm running out of winter to get all my jobs done. Got dust in my eyes. So it's either this or the hazel coppice. Oh, the trials of being a woodsman. I think tomorrow I'm going to have a change of scenery. Do some more hazel over there, because I just want to get that done and finished and made and cut. I will see you in the morning. Good morning. Well, I think the weatherman is wrong today because it's meant to be sunny today. Look at it. I think your lens wants to leave. It's proper foggy. Foggy, misty, I don't know how you interpret fog and mist. Different words, same meaning. At the moment it feels pretty cold and damp. It's about +1 degree with lots of this dampness about, and the trees keep dripping on me. Quick update on yesterday. I was having a really bad day, but I spent 2 hours in the van staring into thin air and not doing anything. I couldn't get motivated, I couldn't focus. Now I had to force myself and go and get some pea sticks, and I forced myself to go and start cutting. Now I was going to carry on down in this bit today, but I think I just want to carry on with it to try and get this hazel coppice done. I don't think I'm going to get it finished today, and I don't think that's realistic, but I definitely want to get a start on it. So I'll go and show you that. These ones here, it's called maiden cut because it's the first ever cut it's had. We planted this hazel. Bought some hazel from a company called Ash Trees in Leeds somewhere, Leeds, Yorkshire way. Really good stock actually, and they do them in plugs, so they don't do bare root as such. They're in these like miniature little plugs, like a little, it almost looks like a bog roll, but it's not. Looks like half a bog roll, and then filled with compost, and you just plant the plug, and honestly they take really well. It's my go-to choice for planting trees. Now I have cut out the odd rod out of it before, but it's the first ever cut. We planted this about 9 years ago, and because this was like an open ride area full of bramble and nettle, it was a right mess. So I knocked it all back, planted it. There might be 100 stools or so. Hedge lane stakes at 5'6". We want some beam poles out of it as well at 8 foot, and then the rest of it will either be charcoal or weaving rods for my hazel hurdles. But as a percentage yesterday, I honestly think I was down to like 10%. Just had lunch and the fog has finally lifted. Tomorrow could be good for getting the rest of this knocked off. These apple trees here, so we've got that apple tree, that one and that one, and there's one over there as well. These were meant to be crab apples, but they're some sort of cultivated thing. They're not crab apples at all because you can eat them. They're quite big, but the wasps have them all. I pruned them, I took the tops out thinking I was doing the right thing to harvest the apples, but to be honest the apples just get swamped by the wasps so quick. I'm kind of at the point where, do I keep them just for habitat and wild food for things? They are tending to overshadow some of this hazel, which I don't like. Let's nip some of branches off. Anyway, mustache, all in. I think we'll see you tomorrow. We'll try and get this little bit of hazel finished. Morning. What a stunner. It's a touch on the chilly side this morning, a bit of a frosty start, but a stunning morning. So we started off way down there, near where the donkey is, somewhere over there. And we've worked all of this today. Goats clearly don't like trees. Getting up to this area of misery, destruction, death. This was a forgotten area when we first got the woodland. And they had something called Guelder Rose in, which is this one here. Viburnum opulus, is it? Guelder Rose. Good for the wildlife, but not much else. And this beetle had it all. It sort of ate all the bark, and it was like half dead. So I cut it all down, cut all the bramble out, cut all the dog rose out, because this was planted with dog rose. That's why I don't like animals in amongst trees, because that's what they do, destroy them. Anyway, back to where we was. Guelder Rose, blackthorn, bramble and dog rose. What I did, cleared it all. I whacked a two-wheel tractor through it a couple of 3 times, knock it all back, replanted with some hazel, which is what I've just cut here. Bit of sweet chestnut there that's nearly all dead. It basically doesn't like wet ground. It doesn't like south-facing slopes, apparently. Thin bark species just don't like the hot sun on their bark, because they kind of blisters their bark off. So things like beech and sweet chestnut, classics for it. They needed a bit of a shelter crop, and I never really thought much about that. Anyway, so they've not done very well with the wet, the frost and the south facing. This is a disaster zone. It's full of blackthorn again, which is Prunus spinosa. It's full of the Guelder Rose has come back, the dog rose has come back, and the bramble has just taken over everything. It's just swamped the lot. So all of this that you see in front of you now, all of this bit, that's mainly bramble now, and I can get that with a brush cutter with a blade on it, because now I've coppiced it. Of course, it doesn't take long for the bramble to take over. In short, I hate blackthorn, I hate bramble, I hate dog rose. It's full of misery, death, sharp bits, spikes. If you can imagine your worst nightmare, times it by 10, and you're coming somewhere close to what it's like to work in blackthorn, bramble, dog rose. If you ever plant anything spiky, you should be roasted on a pit of charcoal made by me, on a slow roast, alive, with piri piri sauce. Don't ever plant spiky things. I'm going to show you what I've done to my hand, because blackthorn is hateful misery. This finger here has got blackthorn in it now. On the chainsaw, once you're using the handle sideways and you're going in for the sort of horizontal cut, and your hand's on the side of the saw, of course, then it's unprotected from the whips. So as you're sawing, it thrashes, and that's thrashed, and I can feel it. This knuckle here is starting to seize up, so something has gone in just there. And I don't know, it hits a nerve or what, but blackthorn's awful stuff, because it sort of carries black death or something in it. It's horrible stuff. That's why you don't plant blackthorn. But on the good news side of it, because here's me going off on one again now about spiky things and death and misery, is this bit down here. Hello donkey. Little experiment I've done with this as well is the top brash that wasn't really much good, and I just didn't want to have the time or the energy or the effort to sift through it and try and get any kind of product out of it. So all this stuff with the hazel catkins on it and all the brashy bits on the floor, I'm going to leave in the hope but it might keep the munkjack out of here, because they don't like standing over things, and try and stop it from browsing at the bare new stems as they come back in the spring. It's an experiment, because I don't normally like leaving brash on stools, because what happens is, as the new stems come through the brash, you can end up with a bit of a zigzag, but that usually is because you've stacked brash quite high. Now this really is only just a little bit on the top. You can see it there, look, through the stool. And so I'm hoping that the stools come back through that, look, one there, without having too much of a bendy bottom, because no one likes a bendy bottom. A little bit of formative pruning on the oak tree, more about getting the lower branches out of my face rather than actually trying to create a decent tree. But, well, better do a little bit of formative pruning than leaving it be. Sweating. Not a nice sight, is it, watching me wipe my brow? Sorry about that. I don't mean to be disgusting. I do wonder sometimes, oops, sorry, what them Protoss helmets are any good. I looked at them at the APF, but they're like 200 and some quid. They are pretty cool. Internal goggle-y things, and there's going to be some clearing up to be done here. That's the sort of the downside to felling, really, is I hate mess, which in a woodland isn't a good problem to have, is it really? Is that the right way around? Isn't a good problem to have, is it really? Isn't a good problem to have. Yeah, that's back to front somehow, but I can't think how. My brain's not functioning again. 4 tankfuls today, and I've had enough. Friday I think we'll be back up here. Morning. It's just a touch on the windy side this morning. I've just got back from the National Forest Company. I've had to do some lapels. So they have these little wooden lapels, all made from silver birch from this woodland that I felled and milled a couple of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. They wanted some local timber. They wanted another 20, so I've just knocked them out. And they have a little magnet on the back so that they can attach it to clothing and jackets and things. And today's mission is, first of all, start some felling. It's a little bit on the windy side, but down in the bottom end where it's not quite so top heavy, I think we'll be all right. Then we've got a log load to go out again. Then we'll come back up here again to do some more felling. Felling. Are you keeping count? help. It's down, but it's not pretty. That's where computer editing is at its finest, when you see the start and the end and not the bad bit in the middle. So of course it got hung up. It's down, I'm in one piece, and I certainly can't encourage what I've done. It is rather embarrassing by anybody's standards, and what it really wanted was a tractor and a winch, or a turf winch, something like that. However, it's down. I'm afraid that's all, folks. I'm kind of hoping that we start getting some hazel panels orders in, so that we start using up some of these rods. Because I tell you, I've never known a winter so quiet. Even when I first started, it wasn't this quiet. I'm going to say goodbye. If you're able to, try and enjoy the woodlands, and I'll see you on the next woodlog. Bye for now. There's a little postscript. I thought you'd update you on my percentage this week. Monday was a bad day all round. Today, a fairly buoyant 65 at the moment. My One Word Wednesday this week was mixed, and the reason for that is I've had a mixed week all round. See you soon.